place. Truth don't hide, it just waits for a face, Big footprints in a pine-slick path. Bob Lazar files with a government laugh. Court dates lost in a sea of red tape. We ain't 10-4, we just stay awake. True crime tales in a borrowed voice. We speak for the silence, not by choice. Got boots on the dirt and eyes on the skies, digging up stories they hoped would die. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Military broadcast, midnight run, teaching vets how to speak what the war's done. From trigger pulls to microphone stands, from combat zones to healing hands. Public records, missing names, unsealed files, classified games. We chase what's buried, not what trends, and we pray for light at the truth's deep end. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Some chase fame, we chase the facts. Some fold quick, we read the tracks. It ain't paranoia if it's always been there, and we ain't scared to lay it bare. Into the storm. We ain't perfect, but we were made for this form.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. I'm Amber.
And I'm Alaura.
And thank you very much for being here tonight.
Yes.
It has been a very busy couple of weeks for me. I don't know about you.
Me as well, yeah.
I went to Eureka Springs, and actually before we went to Eureka Springs, we went up to Chillicothe, and we went to see my cousin who's in prison there. And it was a really good visit. Shelly was doing really good.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, she was doing real good. She does ask for prayer that God moves in the heart of the chaplain that's there.
Really?
Yeah, he was actually a security guard for like 18 years.
Okay, at Chillicothe?
Yeah,
Or-
at
okay.
Chillicothe. And then he became the chaplain. And I think he's a little jaded.
Okay,
So-
yeah, it could probably create some hard feelings
Yeah.
on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, there's probably a lot of for-lifers in there that have already had dealings with him, positive or negative.
Exactly.
So, okay.
Yeah, so everybody
Okay.
keep the women at Chillicothe in your prayers, and good thoughts if you don't pray, that something happens there. And thank you Too Much Mom for becoming a member. We thank you very much.
Mhm.
We don't have a lot of member perks right now, but
We're getting there. We're getting there.
eventually. We've only been doing this for a year, but yeah, so thank you everyone for being here. And Eureka Springs was actually really cool. We went to the Crescent Hotel, and I've been there several times, or at least 4 times, and this would make it the 5th time.
I've never been. But it's
So-
supposed to be a haunted hotel, you say?
Yes,
One of
it's
the
supposed to
most-
be
one of the most haunted in America.
Well, they bought the copyright for.
Oh, okay. So they bought the copyright, so they are the most haunted. But if you have a copyright for it, it kind of makes it seem a little more gimmicky to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gimmicky at all.
It's not gimmicky. Okay,
No.
I've never been, so I don't know.
No, it's really cute.
So
It's-
sound off in the comments of the chat if you've ever been to Eureka Springs. And if
Yeah.
you've been to the Crescent Hotel, I have not.
And I did not have, well, I had one experience. Well, it happened multiple times, but it was just one thing that happened was every time I would go to the bathroom on the 4th floor next to the lounge,
How long were you there?
I don't know. The first day we were there for like 4 hours.
Just wandering at a hotel? Is it like
No,
set up a
hanging
certain
out.
way?
We were hanging out. Just there's a bar
Okay.
with a lounge,
Oh, okay. She was hanging out
food.
at the bar. I
There
see.
was food and everything, and we were talking to all the people sitting at
Yeah.
the bar, and you know how Dad talks. So
Yeah, sometimes.
yeah,
Okay.
so we were there for a while, and then we came back the next day and spent probably 2.5 hours or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the only thing that happened is when I would go into the bathroom, you have to step up and then you step up again into the bathroom. And as you're stepping up into the bathroom, there's this odd smell. And I went in there like 4 times before I figured out what it was.
An odd smell in the bathroom?
Yes.
Never ever heard of that. Sorry.
It was a different smell than what you would normally smell in the bathroom.
Was it musty or?
No, it wasn't. But so it took me like 4 times going in there and trying to figure out what that smell was, but it smelled like a man's breath.
A man's breath.
A man's breath.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it other than that. That's what it smelled
Man's
like.
breath.
And every time you would walk
Whiskey.
up, not whiskey, just a
playing.
man's breath. I don't know how to describe it anyway other than that. And so yeah, as soon as you would walk up and then walk up, you would just get hit in the face with the smell.
Did he have halitosis?
No, not halitosis. So MB says, I don't think I would ever dare go to hotel that's rumored to be haunted.
I don't think she stayed there.
Yeah, no, I didn't stay there. They didn't have any openings. I did try to. My husband did not want to stay there.
Well, there's a place that we were talking about potentially renting out eventually. Maybe not right now, but it's a little closer to home.
Mhm.
There's an Airbnb. You might know a little bit more about that than I do, though.
Joy.
Death breath.
Yes, probably.
Me when I first wake up in the morning.
So you're talking about Hobo Hill House in Jefferson City.
I guess.
Yeah, it's Hobo Hill House, and I watched something a while back about it, and I don't know, it's worth checking out. I don't know how much I want to invite and play with spirits and stuff like
so
that.
you're talking a big game before, but now
I still want to go there. I just don't know if I want to like play around or anything like that.
we're not going to bring a Ouija board.
No, we're definitely not doing that.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, so today is a very special show, and before we forget, I want you guys to remember that Shannon LaFleur, actually I forgot to bring this up. So Shannon LaFleur and Shonda Lore Sanders are still missing, and I'm just going to bring up my community post so you guys can see it.
There we go.
So sorry about this.
Yeah, they're still missing. We still need to bring attention to it. We can't just let this fade into the background.
So Shannon LaFleur, and she went missing in LA. So
January 18th, 2025. So
Yeah.
she's been gone for a good 6 months almost.
yeah,
so.
and her family hasn't seen her for quite a while. And then we've got Chonda Lore Sanders, Chonda Lore Sanders, and she's been missing since 2022, but there may have been a sighting of her in Oklahoma City last year at the Smokapalooza.
That was alleged. It wasn't confirmed.
Well, her family thinks it's her, but
Gotcha.
it's just a picture that somebody took
So it
and
means
sent to her.
There's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope. Okay.
There's hope. And, if these women are just missing because they want to be, then please just reach out to your family or to authorities and just say, hey, tell my family to quit looking for me.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
make sure you can identify yourself. So,
Absolutely. And these are indigenous women.
Yes.
So their cases are often overlooked. There are so many missing indigenous women, so
Mhm.
many missing Black women. Any minorities are just quite honestly swept under the rug by police, and we're going to kind of delve into that a little bit today.
Yeah, and Shannon is missing from the Choctaw tribe, and Chanda is missing from the Cheyenne Arapaho tribes. So that's them, and I just want to make sure that we keep them in mind. And
Absolutely.
so now we're actually going to talk about another person who has passed away. He went missing at first, and then he was found, passed away. And there's a lot of controversy and a lot of mystery surrounding what happened to him. But just like who we covered a while back, Teron Evans Jr., Jelani's case, we're going to be talking about Jelani Day. Jelani's case is also ruled potentially a suicide. And so, his family doesn't believe it. I
definitely don't.
Yeah,
suicide.
Yeah, but we're going to go through all of the records and everything tonight and just look at it. And thank you so much, MB.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're very kind.
Yeah,
And
it seems like there's a lot of police and even coroner interference, or at least negligence in the very least. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, and I don't think that Jelani's family is either. But there's definitely a lot of overlooking of some details, and even with the way that the body was handled after, during autopsies and stuff, leaves a lot of questions. And he went missing, and he was found in a sundown town. And to anybody who doesn't know what that is,
this is Jelani.
This is Jelani. But basically, sundown towns can really be anywhere in the country. I know they're a lot more prevalent in the South, but this is actually in the Midwest in Illinois. But if you're a Black or brown person of color, it's just a place that you definitely don't want to be at any time, but especially not after sundown, because Lord knows what can happen to you. And while we definitely don't know what happened to Jelani, it seems like there might be a correlation to where he is found and what happened to him.
Yeah, so we have no idea. Honestly, we're just going to go through the facts and come to our own conclusions. We are going to have Carmen Bolden Day and possibly her daughter Dacara, joining us next week. They will actually do a recording on Monday with me. And then we'll play it for you guys and talk to you live while we're doing that.
Oh, what time is it on Monday?
We'll talk about it later, but
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but anyways,
I work on Monday. That's the reason why I asked.
It's later on in the day, so it's in the evening.
When we're supposed to be at the competition?
Well, I've already scheduled this,
gotcha.
so it was already scheduled. So
okay,
we'll figure it out.
It's
Don't
okay.
worry
I'll figure
about it.
something out.
We'll figure it out. So, so my nephew is doing a skating competition. He's been competing the last few days, so.
And I haven't gone to be able to support him yet, so that's why I was wondering. But
yeah,
we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it right now.
Sorry, I was just asking. My bad.
Okay. So, this is Jelani, and I feel like I know him just from all of the media that I have consumed on his case and everything. I actually started following this case from the beginning.
2021?
When it first happened. I guess because we live in Missouri, it caught my attention because it wasn't too far from where we live. And so I started following it, and I remember listening to Carmen, talk about her son and what a great person Jelani was, and what she was going through when I was cleaning, and stuff back then. And so I've just been following this since the beginning, but I kind of lost track after there was no more traction on the case.
And that's why it's so important for us to bring everyone here today.
Yeah.
because even though our reach is small, every single eye that we can have on something like that matters. Every
Yeah.
single voice that can speak out and potentially, call the police department, we'll ask his family what they believe that the best calls of action are. But that being said, we can't just let him be forgotten. It's been what years of 2025? Yeah.
2022.
No, I'm looking at the year. But yeah, no, it's been years, and it can't just be something that can fade into the background, because if this is something that can happen to them, it's something that can happen to you. And we all have loved ones. And as I said before, any kind of minority is often cast aside, and not their cases aren't treated the same. And so yeah, we have some interesting stuff. Well, we just have some stuff to get into, and our hearts are definitely with Jelani's entire family. And I think it's quite beautiful the way that they speak about his life.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I do want to say is that his mom,
She seems like a really great mother
yeah,
to
she
both
does.
Jelani and the
Yeah.
rest of her children. She has 5 children, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so. And
every single one of them, except for one of Jelani's siblings, all of them went to grad school, including Jelani. And they're just very smart, very driven. Jelani was going to school to be a speech pathologist. It's said by his mother that he went to school for this because in elementary school he had a friend that had some intellectual disabilities, and he often failed to be able to express himself in the way that a lot of other people deemed to be normal or appropriate. And he just went in and he would help him anytime that he was not being taken seriously, unfortunately, because of his disabilities. And he just wanted to help other people. So, of course, it's an absolute tragedy anytime that somebody's missing or, God forbid, passes away, especially in such a, well, you'll hear what happened to him a little bit, but we still don't really know what happened to him, but we just know how he was found.
Yeah.
And to see that it was somebody that had such a promising future and somebody that was so loved, it's just really heartbreaking. So,
yeah, it really is. And you can tell that he would have really done a lot in this world. And I still think he is going to do a lot through his foundation. They're actually helping other people of color and people who can't afford, PIs, and helping them organize search teams and different things like that. I mean, they're not paying for it, but they're trying to organize it and, help people. And if you do donate, I think they do pay something, but they're just starting out. So the more you can help, the better. And they're not just, collecting money for their family. They're collecting money to help people. So
others, yeah.
yeah. So please, go look at the Jelani Day Foundation, and it's linked in our description in the video. So we're just going to go over a short timeline of events, and then we'll get into the actual documents and stuff like that. So, and I do want to thank somebody over on Reddit who sent me the FOIAs. Thank you very much for that. It was very helpful. I have not gone over them all. Excuse me. And so we're going to go over them together. Okay. So Monday, the 23rd of August, he was grad program director Cara Boaster exchanges coursework texts with Jelani and expects to meet him the next morning at 7:20 a.m. on Tuesday, the 24th. He's at Boone Student Center on camera with a blue dress shirt. At 9:12 a.m., he goes to Beyond Hello Dispensary. He's on camera. He's in a Detroit Lions cap, Jimi Hendrix tee. No sightings after 9:25 a.m. because that's when he pulls off from the dispensary, and we have the videos of that. Wednesday, the 25th of August, family and ISU faculty file missing persons report with Bloomington PD. Thursday, the 26th of August, Peru PD finds Jelani's white Chrysler 300 hidden in the woods just south of the Illinois Valley YMCA. Wallet, keys, and phone were absent. Friday, the 27th of August, Peru PD labels circumstances unexplained and suspicious. Saturday, the 4th of September, kayakers discover a male body on the south bank of the Illinois River, 1 mile east of Illinois 125, 1 mile east of the Illinois 251 bridge. Thursday, the 23rd of September, DNA and dental ID the remains as Jelani Day, cause drowning manner undetermined. Hello, Trouble Puffs. Yeah, the car was hidden in the woods in a little area behind the Y, and we're gonna look at it. I don't know if I found the exact place or not, but we'll try and look at that. So then, let's see. October 2021, LaSalle coroner releases autopsy, debunks missing organs rumor, notes severe decomposition. Monday, the 15th of November, LaSalle County Sheriff confirms Jelani's iPhone has been found and sent to the FBI for deep forensic work. Monday, the 13th of December, FBI announces a $10,000 reward and a new multi-agency task force push for tips. Sorry about the fly, guys. 2022 through 2025, ongoing FOIA trickle, scene, I don't know what AAR is, photo packs, second autopsy, witness reports, phone data screenshots, no final manner of death ruling yet. Okay, so that was just a quick overview. His phone was found, I believe, in 2023. I can't remember right now. We'll get into it, but so that's what happened so far.
And it was found on the side of a highway, I
Yes,
believe.
yes, it was. It was.
So the man that found it, I think he stated that he was like bringing a mattress to his sister's house or something like that, and he stopped on the side of the road just for a break to figure out what was going on or something. And he got out of the car and he walked around and he just found a cell phone and he turned it in. And I mean, I could buy it, but it is a little odd. But I mean, stranger things have happened. I don't think the man was necessarily responsible for anything, but it's like, how did it get there on the side of the road?
Yeah, that's definitely the question. And
I believe his wallet was
somewhere else.
His wallet was found like was it in somebody's yard, or am I misremembering something?
Yeah, somebody's yard. But there's been different reports about it, so I'm not sure. We're going to get into the actual reports and see what it actually says. But online, there's been a lot of misinformation from what I understand, and so we're going to try and not further that. We're going to try and just look at the documents that are out there. And I encourage everybody to go to Reddit and look at what they've got there, Facebook, what they've got there. And
his mom's done quite a few interviews.
She's done a lot.
She's really putting her boots on the ground and trying to make sure that her son gets justice.
Yeah.
And yeah, she really cares.
Yeah.
And not just about her son, but about so many different people, and hence why she started the Jelani Day Foundation. And I think they can really do some good things out of this. It's really an unfortunate circumstance, but they are doing the best and making the best out of it that they can. So
we are going to look at the McLean County Incident Summary Report. And this is dated 10/10/2023. But the incident narrative happened on 8/25/2021. So that's when they got the FOIA request.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were saying that's when it was booked.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
Are you just going through and reading it? Because
we're just
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we're here to do, is to learn.
No, yeah, sure. I didn't know if you had like a never mind. I just didn't know if we had a. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a synopsis of it. I just wanted to go through everything because I think that's the best way to do it, is to just go through it. And if you guys think that's boring, you can tell me, but otherwise I'm just going to do it like this. Let's see. If it was some kind of accident, his belongings wouldn't be spread in different areas. Car would probably be parked in the open, not hidden. Correct.
Yeah, if he wanted to take his own life, then I find walking into a river, especially when he is known to be a swimmer. He was an athlete his whole entire life. And swimming was a big thing that he did. And his mom and brother just don't think that that's at all possible. And then on top of the fact that it's so hard to literally drown yourself, especially if you are someone who is comfortable in the water. You're not going to just spread all of your belongings everywhere and then just kind of run off, not tell anybody after keeping consistent contact with your mom. And something else that's a huge thing is he was actually going through with giving his father a stem cell or I guess not him giving his father a stem cell transplant. Sorry, I can't talk. But he was using, he was a donor. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. He was going to be a donor for his father. Sorry, I almost said husband. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Anyway, okay.
No, you're good,
Yeah.
Laura.
But he was going to be a donor, and it turns out in order to be a donor for stem cells, you have to go through I think like 3 or 4 different operations before they can even do the transfer of stem cells. And from what I understand, I think he went through at least 2 or 3 of the surgeries or procedures or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And he was getting ready to go in with the final steps. And his family firmly believes that because he wanted to help his father out so much, along with plenty of other reasons why they believe he wouldn't take his own life. But just that alone makes it damn near impossible in their minds. And I believe it as well. And then unfortunately his father did pass away.
Yeah, he did.
He had I think they said heart failure and leukemia.
Yeah, I believe so. I can't remember at the moment, but yeah, his father Seve was sick and
he passed away. What do you recall what year it was that he
I
passed
believe
away?
it was 2023, but I can't remember at the moment.
So a little bit after he had gone missing.
We'll get more into that in our interview with Carmen. But so I know people say that it's hard to drown and that it's hard to drown yourself. But I do have an experience where there was a woman that I went to church with who unfortunately took her life in a drowning. And she actually walked out on the beach and just walked out into the water. That's all I know.
I definitely don't want to question anybody's pain, and I
Yeah,
definitely
no.
don't. Well, what I'm going to say is because there's a big but there. But I don't want to question somebody's pain that they're going through or invalidate their experience if they really did take their own life, because that's a really hard place to be in.
Yeah.
And I also don't want to accuse anybody in her family. But also, like, do we have any proof that that's actually what happened? Do we know that's actually what happened? Because, I mean, it is really hard to drown yourself. To anybody that's tuning in now, we're not talking about Jelani. We're just talking about some person,
I am not going to go ask the family.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm not
and
saying
I
we need to
tried,
speculate,
and I
but
tried looking up information on it, and I
details.
couldn't find anything on it. I just remember it happening. So, yeah, I don't know. And then I did. My husband and I were actually married on the Illinois River, but it was in northwestern Oklahoma. No, northeastern Oklahoma. My bad. And so, I think that this story caught my attention as well because it happened, on the Illinois River. And so, yeah, we're just going to get into it. And please just bear with us. I have been sick. I was sick. And I also, if anybody doesn't know, I broke my sacrum in a small motorcycle accident.
Which is part of her tailbone, right?
Yeah, part of my tailbone.
I wouldn't have known that. I didn't even know that.
And so I've been in a lot of pain the last few days.
But you're doing good. You're a trooper.
Yeah, I am. So anyways, okay. So here we go. Incident narrative 1, 2521.
And to anybody who's just tuning in, we're just going to start going right into the docs.
Yes.
Just to try and, there's no speculation. It's just facts.
Yep. Reporting patrol officer. I can't even speak today.
Would you like for me
Yes,
to try
please.
and do some of it? Okay. Reporting patrol officer Jeffrey Widmer, BPD ID. Oh, I don't need to read all that. Okay. On Wednesday, 8/25/21 at 20:57 hours, I was dispatched to Brookridge Heights Apartments, located at 3102 East Hamilton Road, to check on the welfare of an individual. During this call, I was equipped with body-worn camera, and the BWC video was flagged, and my BWC camera was later placed in a docking station to be uploaded to evidence.com. Prior to completing this report, I have not reviewed portions of my BWC video. When I arrived on the scene, I met with the apartment maintenance manager. He stated that ISU PD called to request that we check on graduate student Jelani Day. I went with blank to Jelani's apartment. I entered the apartment and did not locate Jelani. There were school books, clothes, luggage, toiletry items, and kitchenware that all appeared to be normal. Nothing appeared out of the ordinary in his apartment. I spoke on the phone with Jelani's someone in relation to Jelani. Sorry, I should have read a second. His mother. She said her son was en route to Bloomington to check on Jelani. She said Jelani usually calls her or one of his brothers every single day. No one has heard from him in 2 days. She said that they were made aware of this because an ISU professor contacted them asking about Jelani, which, just a side note, I don't know the full context of this, but it seems as if Jelani's mother is no longer in contact with this professor because she started exhibiting some odd behaviors. And I don't know if it was attributed to, did you not recall that? I don't know if it's attributed anything to his disappearance specifically, but in the way that she was talking about him or talking about her in the video that I watched earlier today while I was working, I was listening to it, and it seemed as if she was implying that there might be a story there, but I don't know. I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
Yeah, we don't want to.
No, I was just talking as I go along. Anyway.
No, you're good.
I met with Blank at Jelani's apartment. Blank stated he wanted to list Jelani as a missing person. He stated that the last time they talked to Jelani was 2 days ago. His phone is going straight to voicemail. There's nothing to indicate that Jelani is endangered in any way. Jelani's vehicle was not located at his apartment. His vehicle was a white Chrysler 300 with a black top, Illinois license plate number, blank. I checked with the hospitals and wrecker companies. They did not have any information on Jelani or his vehicle. BPD TCM Vanessa M entered the information into leads at approximately 2300 hours. I have no further information to add at this time. And then he asked for him to be assigned to the case for the follow-up. Okay.
Sorry, I was grilling earlier and the flies just all over the place.
Oh, he got in because you had the doors open.
Yeah.
The flies out here are crazy this year. But anyway. Okay. On Thursday, 8/26/2021, at about 13:16 hours, I was asked to assist in locating Jelani J. Day, who was reported missing by his family on Wednesday evening. After reviewing Officer Widmer's report at about 09:52 hours, I contacted Jelani's mom to introduce myself and check for any updates. She indicated that she last spoke with Jelani at about 6:23 p.m. on Monday, 8/23/2021. Further, Jelani's brother spoke with him at 9:40 p.m. that same evening. According to her, everything seemed normal with Jelani when they spoke with him that evening. She also mentioned that Jelani's instructor at ISU, where Jelani is in graduate program studying speech pathology, spoke with him at about 9 p.m. that evening. She identified Jelani's instructor. She told me that she and her family checked Jelani's bank statements. She said that she believes Jelani's bank card was last used at 4:56 a.m. on Tuesday, 8/24/2021. From viewing ISU Lieutenant Klepik's report, Jelani's Redbird card was last swiped on Tuesday, August 24th, 2021 at about 6:50 hours. A little bit of clarification. That was at a Starbucks, and it is believed to be something that he ordered online and that he was not physically present in the Starbucks at that time, I believe.
Oh, really?
Although, if I'm quoting correctly what I remember hearing, but I also feel like I also remember her saying something about how they did check a Starbucks.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I'll try and look into that, and we'll clarify it a little more whenever we speak to his family. But I just thought of that. So anyway, at about 10:32 hours, I drove to Jelani's apartment at 1805 Pier Way and met with Jelani's older brother and his father. Uh, he was allowed into Jelani's apartment by Brookridge Heights apartment maintenance. In short, he was hoping that something in Jelani's apartment would give some direction to his whereabouts. I drove to the Starbucks located at Starbucks Street. Anyway, I don't know why I said Starbucks Street. Sorry. I'm skipping some of the addresses. Anyway, Jelani's family believed that his debit card was used at Starbucks on Tuesday morning. Initially, they believed the card was swiped at Starbucks ISU's campus. However, the employees at that particular store believed the store was not even open when his card was used. I made contact with Blank, who manages the Starbucks. I showed her a picture of Jelani. They told me that she has seen Jelani before, saying he was a sweet kid, but had no idea when she last saw him. She told me that Jelani likely used a Starbucks app to pay for his order before the store opened. So there we go. At about 12:08 hours, I spoke with Jelani's instructor at ISU by phone. She confirmed that she last spoke with Jelani at about 9 p.m. I asked how Jelani was doing in the speech pathology program and if he had ever made any concerning statements to her. She told me that Jelani is the only male in the program, not to mention the fact that he is the only Black individual in the program. As Jelani seemed to be a bit of a loner, she told me when she spoke with Jelani, she made a point to ask him how he was doing as he struggled a bit in the program. Jelani assured that he was great. He told me that though she has only known Jelani for a short period of time, she believes it is not normal for him to be out of contact with everybody. So I just want to make a quick comment on that as well. Again, obviously, I don't know Jelani. I can't speak as to the kind of person that he was and, his day-to-day activities and the way he acted. That being said, from listening to everything that his mother said, calling him a loner doesn't seem to be quite the right word. Maybe he was a loner in this class, but she talks about how he was super sociable. He was making friends. He was out and about all the time, traveling, hanging out. And obviously you could be more of a loner in like one class or one area of your life and not in another. But maybe I'm just biased thinking about how I think I recall her saying there was something weird going on with the teacher. So I'm just noting, sorry, my little conspiracy brain, I guess, but I'm just noting that she calls him a loner and then also says that he was struggling a little bit in the class. And again, I don't know what his grades are, but it seemed like his mother was implying that he was doing well. And that doesn't really sound like struggling to me. But maybe when you're a grad student, if it's not high A's on everything, maybe that's considered struggling. I'm not really sure. But it seems like he was doing well in the classes. And her just noting that just stuck out to me just from it, just in contrast with everything.
But I think he missed some assignments and stuff.
Did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he missed some assignments. I think he showed up late to a few meetings or something like that.
I know he missed a meeting, which was the one they were supposed to have the day that he was missing.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing about it, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah, from my understanding, he missed a few meetings or was late to a few meetings or something like that and missed an assignment or two. And I think he was just getting back into the groove of going back to school.
It was COVID time, so we all know how that was too.
Well, yeah, but he was also he went to Alabama. I can't remember where it's at now.
I don't recall.
Sorry guys, I have cognitive problems. So if you're here to actually get like fluid information, that's not going to happen.
Don't put yourself down.
So anyways, I think he was off for like 3 years of school. And so he was volunteering at church. I think he was substituting or something like that. He was doing quite a few things.
He was very heavily involved in his church. And
hello, Ferran.
Hello. He was super involved in his church, and that's something that his family wants him to be remembered for. His mother says that she took him to church every Sunday whenever he was growing up, and she was really happy to find that he would just go on his own.
Yeah.
Even when the church kind of moved to Zoom during the pandemic, he would go on to the Bible studies and such on the Zoom calls, and would sometimes even call her out for not showing up to them when she was out of town or busy with other things.
Yeah, I heard that.
And they would talk about, just his faith and everything. And, I think that's beautiful. And so, whether you believe in God or not, I think it's very lovely to think about him being with his creator right now. And that can be the very smallest bit of hope and happiness that we can have
Yeah,
for the situation.
I heard Carmen talking once about how after he passed, his birthday came up, and she wanted to go to the grave and be with him, and that's a hard feeling, but I believe that Jelani is not there, and I believe that he is somewhere much better than in the ground. And so I take hope in the fact that he is somewhere, I believe, in a good place now, even though we would much rather him be here.
Yes, definitely. But it's something that brings his family comfort and hope. And I hope that to those that it can provide the same, it can provide the same. That being said, I'm going to continue with a little bit more of that. I just had, some side points to make as normal. Okay. Later in the afternoon, I spoke again with Jelani's mom. I asked if she would be okay with us posting Jelani as missing on our City of Bloomington Police Facebook page. I requested that we do everything, or she requested that we do everything possible to help locate her son. She told me that she would have to send me a picture of Jelani. I obtained the pictures a few minutes later and asked Public Information Officer John Furman to post Jelani as a missing person on the Facebook page. On Thursday, August 26, 2021, at approximately 7:30 hours, I read a notification from a faculty member who expressed concern for a graduate student. But, this is the same exact thing, I think, or very similar. I'm just reading through real quick to see. Okay, it's a little bit different, but I'm just going to go ahead and read through, even though some of it's the same. So bear with us. Who expressed concern for a graduate student by the name of Jelani Day. According to her, Day had not shown up for his class and was unable to be reached by phone. Next, I searched for Day and EJS and learned BPD officer Jeff Widmer generated a missing person report for Day last night. Based on Officer Windemer's report, his mother, his ISU emergency contact, spoke to Officer Windermere and indicated concern for her son's well-being. With the vehicle information provided in Officer Windmere's report, I contacted ISU Parking and Transportation Services and inquired if they had contact with Day's vehicle. According to the records, his vehicle was cited for parking violations on Wednesday, August 18th, Alamo 2 lot, and Friday, August 20th, South University parking garage. The South University parking garage was checked by ISUPD officers and with negative results. Day's Redbird card was last swiped on Tuesday, August 24, 2021 at 6:50 hours to gain access to room 309 in Fairchild Hall. It was learned this room was a computer lab. ISUPD officer Erickson checked into the room and met with the students present. All knew of Day and were aware of his missing status, but had not seen him since Tuesday morning. At approximately 11:05 hours, I searched the parking lots at Brookridge Heights Apartments in Bloomington, where he resides, for his vehicle. However, I was unsuccessful in locating it. This concludes my involvement. So now moving on. On 8/26/2021, at about 15:50 hours, I spoke with Jelani's ISU instructor. She advised me that another student spoke with Jelani after class on Monday after about 2 p.m. I spoke briefly with them by phone, who told me that Jelani was having difficulty finding his car that afternoon and that she drove him around to help locate the vehicle. When she and Jelani couldn't find the vehicle, she dropped Jelani back off by Fairchild Hall. See ISU PD Officer Lulo's report for more information. At about 4:35 p.m., I received a call back from blank. She advised me that ISU was able to look up his computer logs. From the logs, they believed that Jelani was last logged in at 6:59 a.m. on Tuesday morning. She also mentioned that Jelani was supposed to go over to health services that morning. Later in the afternoon at 16:54 hours, Bloomington PD dispatch received a call from Officer Mark Creddy of Peru. And Peru being that quote unquote sundown town allegedly that he was found in. Police department. After Officer Creddy, I feel like I'm saying all these people's names wrong, but it's fine. It seems like they're not very helpful people anyway, so they can deal with it. Officer Creddy advised me that someone from the YMCA called in suspicious vehicle at about 16:21 hours. According to Officer Creddy, a white 2010 Chrysler 300 with no license plates was located in the woods south of YMCA. That's another thing. There were no license plates. If he's going to go take his life, he's going to take off the license plates.
And there was a loose license plate in the
car,
in the trunk, but it wasn't.
But it wasn't his.
Yeah.
Did they identify whose it was?
I
If you
have
recall?
no idea.
Okay. Officer Creddy explained that the vehicle was not in a normal parking lot area, but rather was down the hill in the brush woods. Officer Creddy mentioned that someone at the YMCA noticed the vehicle there the previous day, but did not call the vehicle in at the time. Officer Creddy told me that the license plate had been stripped off the vehicle, but they were able to run the VIN number and determine that the vehicle was associated with missing person Jelani Day. Officer Creddy advised me that they located some luggage in the backseat of the vehicle. Outside the vehicle, officers located a face mask, a lighter, and a coin next to the driver's door. Officer Creddy advised me that the detective Brad Jones was responding to the scene to determine if there was any foul play. After about 11 hours, I requested that BPD dispatch contact Verizon.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so let's just from what fell out of the door when he opened the door.
A face
mask, a lighter, and a coin next to the driver's door. So he went and bought a blunt at Beyond Hello Dispensary before he actually, that's the last place he was seen.
So it makes sense, a lighter.
Yeah, but I was thinking, so I guess he had to actually walk quite a way. If he was the one who parked the car there, he would have had to have walked, like over a mile, and it was like in a kind of deserted area, from my understanding.
Where
from that
he was found, or where the car was found? Sorry.
So from where the car was found
Okay.
to where he was found,
Okay.
he would have had to walk quite a while. So you think if he was actually going to go down there and purposely take his life, or purposely go down there and he accidentally falls into the river, okay, wouldn't he be smoking the blunt down there instead of smoking the blunt in the car on the way up there?
Yeah, well, it didn't say that they found the blunt.
It was in the car, though.
Oh, the blunt was in the car?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking, like, hypothetically, okay, I go out and I go to the woods and I smoke blunts sometimes. And I'm a girl, so it's extra unsafe. But that being said, I'm just thinking, okay, well, I have multiple lighters, so I was thinking, okay, one lighter being found,
and he ended up, this
And-
was an hour away from the dispensary.
An hour away from the dispensary.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why he was in this town, but again, I was
And
thinking, well, maybe he
actually,
went down, he parked at the Y. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go smoke this blunt real quick, and then maybe something happened there.
Okay.
But if he didn't even have the blunt, then I don't even know what he'd be doing out there. Period.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
Just a second.
Okay, we see Beyond Hello, the Illinois State University. Oh, my bad, it wasn't on the screen yet.
Yeah. Okay. So this is right here is Illinois State University. So he starts out there, then he goes over here to Beyond Hello.
And how far are those away from each other?
I think they're like 8 minutes away.
Okay, so
what I think the map
reasonable
said.
driving distance.
So then he leaves. He sits in the parking lot for 5 minutes at Beyond Hello, and then he leaves. And then he comes out this way and goes down here, and this is where his phone is found, is down here. And then he goes all the way up here. Sorry. Goes all the way up here and drives an hour and 37 minutes, basically, to
a random place.
YMCA.
And he had a YMCA membership. Do you remember?
I don't know if he had a YMCA membership, but I wouldn't doubt it if he did, because he was a swimmer and an athlete.
Out there,
yeah. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. But that's kind of random that he would go over here and then down here and then back up and then up in all the way up here.
It's a little odd. Yeah.
Yeah, and
definitely odd.
his family says that he doesn't know anybody up here. And as you said, it's supposedly a sundown town, and
which is not friendly and not a
yeah,
place that you would expect him to be at all.
yeah. And my husband actually, he lived outside of Detroit, Michigan. He grew up around there and at a Detroit Beach, and it was predominantly, I think he said it was predominantly Black. He was more of the minority in that area.
Mhm.
And so when he moved to Missouri, we're not going to talk about the town, but when he moved to Missouri, he moved to this very small town, and it was a huge culture shock to him, for one thing. And then for another, he found out that it was a sundown town, and he had no idea what that was. They didn't know what that was. They just had moved there because I believe his dad's friend lived in the area, and so they wanted to be around each other. So, yeah, so he has a little bit of experience with that, and he said it can be pretty bad. And actually, Mariah, we do know who Dave Politis is. I have actually reached out to Dave Politis and asked him to be on. His media manager, I believe, or one of his guys, has gotten back to me, and they asked me for my information and my stats and stuff.
They're numbers guys, but that's okay.
Yeah, and it's fine because he says he only does a couple of interviews a year. And so hopefully, hey, get our numbers up and maybe we can get Dave Politis on here.
We'll see what we can do. But yeah, she definitely talks about him a decent bit. So we know who that is.
Yes, I love Dave Politis. So yeah. So I thought that was just an interesting way to drive.
Definitely, especially when you don't know anybody in the area, at least anybody that you know knows about. And from what I understand, I don't think there's really any text messages that really indicated him going over there.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know what
they're really weird with the phone.
I know. I want to know what the GPS on the phone said, because a kid like him, I'm going to call him a kid because he's a kid to me. A kid like him leaving a university that he's not familiar with is going to put his GPS on to find out where he's going.
Yeah.
Unless he just decides to drive aimlessly. But as far as I know, that's not the type of person that he was, but we all do things randomly from time to time. So we can't say that it's out of the realm of possibility, but to go to a place that is a sundown town. Now I was wondering if he was walking around there, would he be noticed? And from all the research I did, it said that no, he wouldn't necessarily be noticed, especially if it was during the day.
But the people that live there, like, it's not like when they go, it's not like what do they call people like with dementia when they have like the sundowner thing? Like, it's not like they like a switch flips or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a switch flips in their mind as soon as like the sun goes down. If people are shitty in the area and they're prejudiced, they're gonna be prejudiced day or night. They just might not act in the day. So I don't know how accurate that would be.
No, I was just I just did some research, and it was just talking about that there is quite a bit of traffic in that area. I think there's a university or something over there as well. Yeah. So just even like in Dad's situation, it was a small town next to an area with a university, but there's like so many universities in this area. It's really crazy. So, but yeah, I just wonder if he was using his GPS, what he was doing. Hey, Hakab. And so that was just one thing that
yeah, I got it.
Okay, you got it.
Keep talking. You're talking already.
Okay, so yeah, anyways, I was just wondering, I wouldn't go anywhere without a GPS. And you're gonna have to find the
his brother also
just go over there on the side.
Okay, this is more confusing. anyway, but his brother said, I don't know what this is at
It's
all.
just, there you go.
Am I even in the right spot?
Just stop.
Figure it out. Just keep talking.
So yeah, I can't remember what I was talking about, but yeah, from what I understand, at least in the 90s, it was still very much happening as they were actually chasing people out of towns. So it was something that my husband had never experienced before. And yeah, we won't even talk about it because it was crazy.
Okay, I
So.
think I found kind of where I was at. This might be a little bit inaccurate as to where I'm at, but it's at least like one page over, and they generally have very similar information. So I'm just going to pick up where I think I left off. At about 1550 hours, I spoke with Jelani's ISU instructor. She advised me that another student spoke with Jelani after class on Monday after about 2 p.m. I spoke briefly by phone, who told me that Jelani was having difficulty finding his car that afternoon and that she had drove him around to help locate the vehicle. When she and Jelani couldn't find the vehicle, she dropped Jelani back off by Fairchild Hall. At about 4:35 p.m., I received a call back from blank. She advised me that ISU was able to look up his computer logs. From the logs, it's believed that Jelani was last logged in at 6:59 a.m. on Tuesday morning. She also mentioned that Jelani was supposed to go over to health services that morning.
So, do you find it odd that he couldn't find his car?
Yeah, that is a little odd.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why.
I mean, he'd only been there for a few weeks, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I get lost all the time, but I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, but later in the afternoon at 16:54 hours, Bloomington PD dispatch received a call from Officer Mark Cuddy of Peru Police Department. After Cuddy advised me that someone from the YMCA called in a suspicious vehicle at about 16:21 hours. According to Officer Cuddy, a white 2010 Chrysler 300 with no license plates was located in the woods south of the YMCA. Officer Cuddy explained that the vehicle was not in a normal parking lot area, but rather was down a hill in the brush woods. Officer Cuddy mentioned that someone at the YMCA noticed the vehicle there the previous day, but did not call on the vehicle at the time. Officer Cuddy told me that though the license plates had been stripped off the vehicle, they were able to run the VIN number to determine the vehicle was associated with missing person Jelani Day. Officer Cuddy advised me that they locate some luggage in the backseat of the vehicle. Outside the vehicles, officers located a face mask, a lighter, and a coin next to the driver's door. Officer Cuddy advised me that Detective Brad Jones was responding to the scene to determine if there was any foul play. At about 17:11 hours, I requested BPD dispatch to contact Verizon, requesting that they ping Jelani's phone or provide us the last known location of Jelani's cell phone. At about 17:48 hours, TC Barb Pinkoman advised me that his last location for blank was about 0.19 miles northeast of the following GPS coordinates. The last ping was at about 09:21 hours on 8/24/21. This would place the device near the intersection of Veterans Parkway and GE Road at 09:21 hours on 08/24/2021. Later in the night, at about 21:20 hours, I responded to 300 Walnut Street, Peru, Illinois, with Detective Schwartzentruber. Okay, Schwartzentruber and crime scene detective Tim Marvel. Upon our arrival, we met with Detective Brad Jones, who showed us a scene where the vehicle was located. Detective Brad Jones advised us that they conducted a canine track from the vehicle to attempt location of Jelani Day. Detective Jones also mentioned that the Utica Oglesby ground search team responded and conducted the ground search of the area. Further, they completed drone aerial searches with Peru and Utica fire drones. Ultimately, Jelani Day was not located in the area. Detective Brad Jones told me that he was advised by responding officers that the YMCA cameras did not capture the area where Jelani's vehicle was found. I think that his mom implied that they said that they just didn't work at all, the cameras. Not just that they didn't pick up Jelani, but that they just didn't work, which is a
Mhm.
little odd. Why would a business, especially a business that has so many families, so many people coming in and out?
It was farther behind in a wooded area behind the
But I
YMCA.
thought she had implied that the cameras just didn't work at all.
Oh,
I
well,
could be wrong. Don't quote me that, or quote me on that as like the word of God, but I think I recall her saying that the cameras just weren't working, period.
oh,
So
okay.
I could be wrong again, but that's what I feel like I remember.
Okay.
Anyway. Uh
The top.
okay, gotcha. BPD crime scene detective Marvel processed the area surrounding the vehicle. We determined that that as Jelani was still missing, we Bloomington PD would have the vehicle towed to the Sally Port of the Bloomington Police Department and would apply for a search warrant to search the vehicle. I contacted Bloomington Dispatch and requested they send Joe's Towing to our location to have the vehicle towed back to the Sally Port. It should be noted that while we were waiting for Joe's Towing to arrive, I learned that a news article had surfaced linking this missing person case to the ground search that was conducted in the Peru, Illinois area. As I did not wish to lose credibility with Jelani's family, I contacted Jelani's mom to inform her that Jelani's vehicle had been located in Peru. She advised me that she and several family members were already on their way up to Peru at about 23:15 hours, and several of her family members arrived at the YMCA just north of blank. I was wearing a department issue body worn camera when I spoke with Jelani's family. The BWC footage was later uploaded to evidence.com. It just tells you how to view the video footage. While speaking with Jelani's family, she reminded me that Jelani took a trip to Houston over his past weekend. I later learned that the trip was from Friday, 8/20/21 to Sunday, 8/22/21. She mentioned that before Jelani went on his trip to Houston, he mentioned feeling weird vibes from two of his best friends. I don't remember hearing about that. That's weird.
Mhm.
Jelani, according to his mother, I believe, felt like they were plotting against him. I don't know why I don't remember hearing about
I
that.
think it was his sister. I think he told his sister this,
Oh,
but I'm
the
not
sister that
sure.
said that. Okay. One of his family members,
Mhm.
regardless. When I asked why he thought that, she told me that Jelani had dreamt about it. Okay. Uh, she later identified these friends as blank and blank, who was known as a bunch of redacted stuff in Danville, Illinois. Told me she asked Jelani if he had a falling out with them. Jelani allegedly responding by telling blank that no, they did not have a falling out. Blank also wanted me to know that she spoke with one of her cousins since Jelani was missing. Was allegedly, I don't see what that said. Oh, gotcha. Allegedly told by one of Jelani's friends that he and Jelani had purchased more weed than usual either this last Sunday or the Sunday before. From speaking with Jelani's family, I learned that the large amount of weed for Jelani is still a fairly insignificant amount and that he was not selling the cannabis as far as they were aware. It's a legal state. That would be dumb.
Mhm.
Anyway, I asked Jelani's family if he went to Houston for the purpose of picking up a large amount of weed. I was advised that Jelani did not pick up any weed while in Houston. Also, I just want to state the fact that it was a black man picking up weed might have a lot to do with why they're not taking it seriously. We want to
Yeah.
totally say that it doesn't matter what substances you take or anything, and especially weed in a weed legal state,
Yeah.
completely recreational.
Yeah.
People in Illinois smoke the hell out of weed, and people in Missouri smoke the hell out of weed too. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm coming up, I'm putting that on somebody, I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet that him being a black man that had some weed on him made them
Mhm.
think a certain type of way about him, which smoking
Yeah.
weed doesn't make you any different. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry for using language on your stream, but it's ridiculous. And again, I'm kind of projecting here. I don't know if this is really what's going on, but I just see it as something that would be a potential. And we all know how police can be. I'm not saying every single person that has ever been a police officer is the worst person in the world, but systematically.
Even when it comes to white people, if they have a mental illness or they have any kind of drugs on them
Or if they're a sex
or
worker,
anything like that,
they
they
just-
will just ignore it or do as little as possible.
Mhm.
And so, yeah. it's unfortunate.
It's like your life doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, tattoos and piercings.
Tattoos and piercings. Oop, I'm screwed. Anyway, so Detective Brad Jones asked Jelani's family if he was having any mental health challenges or if he had had any mental health challenges in the past. The family did not believe so, but commented on his large workload, clinical schedule, and the fact that he recently picked up a part-time job at Outback Steakhouse. Jelani's family did mention that he was hired at Outback, but he didn't show up twice. As he failed to show up, he did not keep the job. I later learned from the Bloomington YMCA director of operations that Jelani was also hired at the YMCA in Bloomington,
you go.
Illinois, back in April. When Jelani did not show up for training on his first day of work, he and Jelani agreed that the job would likely not be a good fit for him.
That's
So it seems like
interesting.
he might have actually been going through some stuff.
Mhm.
But regardless, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to take your life, especially in such a random place in such a weird way. I don't think that Jelani seemed like the type of person to be like, you know what? I'm going to take my own life. And on top of that, I'm going to leave a little trail of breadcrumbs to confuse people.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, he loved his family so
Love
much
his family.
that I genuinely don't, unless I see something different as of right now. I see that he's having issues, and it could just be issues settling in because, he's moving to a new town, a new apartment, a new school, and his dad's sick. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, but some of us have gone through a lot and still keep on trucking. So I can't say that, all of that would cause him to take his life. And the fact that his dad was depending on him and his family was depending on him, leads me to believe that he wouldn't do that. But unless I see something different,
Again, I don't believe that he would do it just by the way that it seems he cared about his family. Not to say that somebody that takes their own life doesn't care about their family. That being said, again, worst case scenario that he was going to take his life, it doesn't strike me. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person that, again, would rip off his license plate, drive, an hour and a half north of where he was at, and then, throw his phone on the side of the highway all the way back past where the dispensary even was, and then throw his wallet, I think, potentially in somebody's yard. Like, I think he would at least leave a note or make it very obvious what had happened if very worst case scenario. It sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and the fact that his the car that he was driving was his grandfather's car, and it was really special to him. And so I believe that if he were going to take his life, he would make sure that car would be able to be found so that somebody in his family would be able to take care of it.
Not in the middle of the woods with license plates ripped off and a random license plate in the trunk.
Yeah, it is weird.
Do they know whose license plate it is?
No,
Did I say that earlier?
No, but some people say that it may have been from the person who owned it before, when he took off the...
I have had actually a previous license plate in my car before. Yeah. Okay. So again, I'm not saying, anyway, we're already an hour in. I don't even think we're going to get to a lot of the stuff, but I do want to say that's the only reason why I asked earlier about if we were going to read through page by page instead of, certain things. But that being said, maybe we'll get a little bit more to it next week whenever we talk to his family. But it seems like there was a lot of weird stuff happening with the coroner. I actually think he was a forensic pathologist, and then there was a coroner, and then there was somebody else, but they got 3 different autopsies on his body. And the difference between the first one and the last 2 are night and day differences. And it seems like the first autopsy, the guy who performed that, is really the only person who seems to imply drowning or suicide. It seems that there was no water found in his lungs. His body was completely attacked. Teeth were knocked out of his skull. And even whenever they transferred to the second and third people that would do the autopsy, I think they said his pancreas was missing, or maybe it was his spleen, and his like head was cut open in a weird way. And it seems like a lot of the ways that he was operated on post-mortem were completely contradictory to any other way that anybody else would traditionally be operated on or looked into. Um, so it's just some weird stuff. And then also it seems, and I think there are actually some documents on this, but it looks like there might have been a group chat between different coroners and people of that nature in the area. And I think they had some sort of an association. I wish I remember exactly what it was off the top of my head, but the president of that group requested that they do like a I guess a peer review or just a giant review between all of them to look into Jelani specifically because things just seem so weird.
Yeah.
And he was actually denied. They said no. And this guy was the president of whatever organization it was. And then on top of that, he actually ended up resigning from his position and saying that the reason why he resigned from his position was because he felt like there was foul play involved with Jelani Day's case and felt like the police officers and everybody that are supposed to be investigating and helping the family were up to no good.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that, you know, we don't blame people, but at the same time, we want to hold them accountable.
Yeah, I'm not
And
saying anyone specifically did anything. I'm not saying they're involved in it, but they're definitely being negligent.
yeah, at the very least.
At the very
Okay,
least.
so Joy, I think this is the area where his car was found. So it's just this area that's behind the YMCA is up here. So
Kind of looks like a little parking spot if someone might want to go on a little
yeah.
hike and smoke.
And so I think he had to like walk that way or something like that to get to it. But so yeah, the YMCA is up this road and then you turn right back into
It
the
makes me think
YMCA.
potentially he was thinking about getting out and smoking. Someone stopped him.
Yeah, but
got
why
out of
would
the
he drive
car.
an hour and a half and then smoke his blunt there, not take it with him, and then walk off?
Was it partially smoked?
Yeah, it had
was
been
partially
smoked.
smoked.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it had been smoked.
Also, I don't know if there's any like hard evidence on this, but Jelani's mother, in reviewing the security camera footage from the dispensary, hello, what was it?
Beyond
Hello.
Hello.
Gotcha. So anyway, she said that at least to her, it looked like there could have been oh, you good? Sorry, my dog's moving around on me and he's hurting me. I don't have anything you can crawl underneath. Anyway, but it seems what was I even saying? Sorry, he distracted me. Oh yeah, she said that she thought that he had some got it? Sorry. It looked like there might have been a shadow in the car in the passenger seat. So there's no evidence to prove that there definitively was somebody in the passenger seat or not. It seems like everybody else didn't really think that, but she definitely thought that.
Let's look.
We're looking at.
I'm gonna find that video. Hold on. I had it pulled up earlier. What it looks like. Here it is.
How was this footage? I guess we'll decide for ourselves.
Okay.
This is the footage from Beyond Hello, which again was the dispensary that he was at. Okay, that's his car.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one. Coming.
Yes.
So he doesn't like park off, off away from anybody because those are 2 handicap spots.
Yeah.
So
And he's parked at an angle to where I don't know if I'd be able to see if there's a shadow in that car. God, it's really sad seeing somebody's last moments.
I know.
My heart really goes out to his loved one.
Kind of reminds me of Phil, the way he's dressed and walking that way.
Anyway.
Okay.
Is this inside the dispensary?
Yep. They got a lot of rules in dispensaries. You have to look at the cameras. That's why that video footage of him, or the still of him looking up at the camera that was released, and everybody thought he looked like he was in distress. No,
Is that how it is in Illinois? Because I don't do that in Missouri. Looking up at the camera.
They do it at different ones. It all depends. So at the Beyond Hello, it does it. There's some in Springfield that do it. So it just all depends on the place you go. So he was browsing, he was shopping, he wasn't in a hurry. He
wasn't like, okay, get this for me and let's get out of here.
Yeah, he wasn't like, oh, just give me whatever is the best you think it is.
Which is kind of what I do. Surprise me.
And he's just casually standing there. He's not agitated. He
doesn't look anxious.
No, nothing. He looks perfect.
I mean, obviously you can hide some things, but it just seems like it's
a
normal day.
If you have a plan this is going to be your last hurrah, first I would think you would get edibles if this was going to be your last hurrah instead of, just a blunt, but hey, that's just me speaking, so.
But you never know how someone's going to look in their final moments.
Yeah, I know.
My best friend
I know
posted
that.
pictures of him smiling and stuff,
No, I know.
So.
I know. I know too well. And this was during COVID, so he had his mask on. But yeah, he just gets one, He pays cash for it, if I remember correctly. So. I don't know, it just doesn't seem.
It seems like a normal interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, you never know.
I didn't see him do a little look up at the camera, but that's probably because there's like normally two. Normally, if anybody hasn't been to a dispensary, I haven't been to any in Illinois, but just speaking from experience, normally you'll go into like one little room, you'll kind of get checked in or whatever, and then they'll send you back to the room where they actually have the goods, and then they have to do like double checks and stuff, and they're very there's a lot of different rules to it. Yeah.
So this is a 6 minute and 15 second video. And supposedly this, where he gets into his car, is where he wipes his phone or shuts his phone off or whatever.
Which seems.
But I think he even like wiped his phone, like
unusual.
erased stuff off of his phone or something like that.
He did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what. Can felons buy in a recreational state? Yeah.
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 They're big customers. Yeah. I think guns and sometimes voting, I think those are pretty much the only things that are off limits.
Yeah, and they're trying to change the voting here in Missouri.
I think they should change the voting.
I think they should too.
I still think the gun should be off limits, especially for violent crimes,
Yes.
or at least for violent crimes. But
Yeah.
I think if you're a citizen of the United States, you did your crime, you did your time.
Yeah, but so he just sits here this whole time, and they say that's when he's wiping his phone or he's doing whatever, you know. But why would he do that? Why would
I
he?
saw him reach over. I see like a shadow of some sort, but it looks like he's just maybe grabbing something. I don't know if I see somebody leaning over the other way though.
Yeah, he had stuff in his.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking. That's all.
Yeah, no.
Looking and observing, because his mom had said that she thought that she saw something in the passenger side, but I don't know if it necessarily looks like his hands up to somebody, or if he's getting some out of the glove box or putting it in the seat beside him. Or if anybody at home sees anything that stands out, please let us know.
Yeah, Joy, the Google data. I'm not even sure about the phone. I don't think that he had an iPhone, and so I don't know. They weren't able to get into the phone. His mom actually was watching a video of him at the university when he was going into a building or
Actually, I
something.
think it was in a Starbucks.
Yeah, it was in
I
a
think it was
Starbucks
a
at the
Starbucks, yeah.
university or something like that. And he was putting in his code, but no one realized it, and his mom, realized that and sent that over to the FBI, and then it took like 11 days for them to open the phone and see what was in there. So, I'm not sure what they know about the phone and what's on the phone, because I think
Well, the way it seemed, I don't know much about technology, so I'm not going to explain this right. I never really explain anything right. What's new? But anyway, but it seemed like they were saying that there was some kind of a program that they might have used to get the data off the phone, and they're not actually physically on the phone
Yeah.
when they were looking at stuff.
Yeah, because it was destroyed. Basically.
Gotcha. But I mean, it seems like there was a little bit in the phone that you could gain access to. And his brother said, or Jelani's brother had said that he used Google Maps a lot, and he's like, hey, check his Google Maps, see if where the last few places he had put in there were. And the guy ended up having a conversation with his mother and was like, there's nothing on the phone. And according to her, she said that he literally screamed at her and said, there's nothing on the fucking phone. Which, I'm sorry, nothing on the phone or not, even if every single concern that she has is invalid, that is not how you speak to, well, one, a member of the public, but two, just a concerned mother who's trying to figure out why her son was washed up in the Illinois River.
Yeah.
She's a victim.
Yeah, when Dad heard that last night, he's like, "That's normal for small towns and stuff like that
Well, that's the
around
reason
here."
why, that's the reason why a lot of people don't like the police. So, we need reform for sure, in the very least. I don't know what the answer is, but not that. Not that.
Okay, so he's leaving.
Leaving now. Do we see anything in the? It doesn't look like there's
No.
anybody in there. Well, there's something there. Maybe something was a little. It kind of looked, if I'm grasping for straws, it looks like if you look like someone might have put their head back, but there's nobody like sitting up like this. But that's just to play devil's advocate. I don't know. Okay, so we're looking. I don't know if there's a way you could go frame by frame, but you don't really see anything. Oh, of course, the glare. And then a little bit more. Right there. Do you see there's a little black thing right there? I don't know if that black dot shadow is like I don't know if that's a head.
That could just be Jelani's head. Couldn't it?
He was a little bit more over here though. He was leaning a little more forward so you can like see, look around, and then back here.
Oh,
but
back there?
Yeah. Do you see? Right. Okay. So sorry, I'm off camera kind of pointing with my literal finger, but you see right here. There's like, hold up. Right there. There's like a little black dot, and I think Jelani's more over here because he's kind of leaning forward.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying this is anything, but if that, if the mother thinks she saw something. Like right here. Maybe it could just be grasping for straws,
Yeah.
but can't
Hard to
really.
see.
It's hard to tell. There really is no definitive.
Doesn't look like anybody's in the passenger seat, but
I'm thinking probably not, but I wanted to give it at least a look.
mm-hmm.
Is that about all?
Yeah.
Not going to show anything else because he won't come back. Okay. Oh, is this just kind of similar showing his vehicle, or is this showing it
Leaving.
and exiting? Okay. I get a little. Yeah, I don't really see anything there at all.
Nobody's there.
It doesn't seem like that to me.
Mm-mm.
But right there, you see, like, maybe it's just the
It's just the
seat, but
seat.
it kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
Now we do need to mention that there was unknown male DNA found in Jelani's waistband of his pants. So,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I somehow missed that. That seems suspicious. Not to speculate, do we know Jelani's orientation? Or has it been identified? Doesn't really matter.
You
Isn't
know,
really
I have
relevant.
no idea.
Okay. Oh, we got lost again.
Yeah, it changes every time you get off of there.
Gotcha. We're looking for our documents. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I'm not trying to speculate on that whatsoever.
I would imagine he
but it
was-
doesn't give me that vibe.
Yeah.
But regardless, it seems suspicious to me. He didn't have any roommates or anything, did he? Oh,
no.
you said it was unknown DNA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't bring up when you put it into, oh, not CODIS. What's the other one?
GEDmatch. Well, I don't know if they
GEDmatch.
put it in GEDmatch.
Probably not, because it doesn't seem like they're really doing anything, but they said it's unidentified. So maybe they tried to identify it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not to speculate too much. Okay. Your little paws scratch me and it hurts.
Okay. Did we read about the Starbucks?
No,
I don't.
Just update for everybody. We are on Military Broadcast Radio. So we are only able to stream at least on a regular time on the radio station for 2-hour increments. We are at the about 1.5 hour mark. So there's a lot of information we're not going to be able to cover.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be speaking to Jelani's family next week.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't cover all the bases between this episode and the next episode, we will probably do a follow-up episode and actually get you guys all up to speed on exactly everything that's going on. Clearly, you know, we're only going to get so far in like a 206-page document in a 2-hour time frame, especially when I'm trying to add a little bit of context. But I feel like the context we've added is important. It's stuff you needed to know.
Yeah, no, I think it's going well. And you know, like I said, don't expect you know, a fluid praise. I can't even speak.
The more you say that, you manifest it.
Okay.
That being said, though, yeah, so we're just trying to get a base of kind of what happened, and I just really want to make sure that Jelani's story and Jelani as a person does not get lost in all of the court documents.
Yeah.
Because so often, you know, we, especially people that pay attention to true crime, it's kind of salacious. You know, we get caught up in the dirty details and, you know, the mind of a killer and all this stuff. And that just doesn't apply here. We're not going to let him just be another person that, you know, I mean, there's so many people that, you know, pass away, go missing, have horrible things happen to them every day. And, you know, people do mukbangs and talk about their deaths and talk about the brutal things, and they laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Well, I laugh when I'm nervous.
Well,
about
yeah,
stuff, so.
It's okay for that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, people just kind of treat things like a joke, and I'm not here trying to, like, you know, morally grandstand or anything like that. But we just want to make sure that to the best of our ability, that we try and do Jelani's case justice. Again, this is a small channel, and our reach isn't that far, but every single eye that we can get on this case, or any case really, is very helpful. So we appreciate everybody for watching this. Okay, let's get a little bit more back into this. Again, I just wanted to clarify that we will be having more information come out. We will be speaking more about, just everything, whether it be Jelani as a person, some more of the details of the crime scene, stuff like that. But, we're kind of got to make our way through. Oh, you're presenting it again. Gotcha. Does that say LimeWire?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was just saying something about laughing, and I'm laughing. Sorry, I haven't seen LimeWire in a while.
I know. I laughed when I saw it too.
I was like, okay. You don't have any. Hope you don't get any viruses from this. LimeWire is notorious for viruses.
It scanned it. I don't know.
Okay. Not saying anything about these documents in particular, just LimeWire. If you know, you know, right? Okay. I hope this is kind of where we're at. I met with Assistant State's Attorney Aaron Hornsby, who assisted me in drafting a complaint for a search warrant to search Jelani Day's white 2010 Chrysler 300, bearing the following VIN number. ASA Hornsby also assisted me in drafting a complaint for search warrant for cellular records from Verizon corresponding to Jelani's Verizon number. ASA Hornsby and I met with the Honorable Judge Sarah Duffy, who reviewed the complaint and search warrant. Judge Duffy signed both complaints and search warrants at about 14:03 hours. Upon returning to the police department, I scanned the complaint and search warrant for Jelani's vehicle as a PDF document. I uploaded the PDF copy of the documents to evidence.com and associated the PDF with case number to view the PDF, and it just shows you how to look at it. I provided a copy of the search warrant to Detective Marvel. You're going to confuse me when you do that. Sorry. In the forensic lab prior to the execution of the warrant. I packaged original documents as evidence and submitted the evidence to CID locker number 45. I scanned the complaint search warrant for Verizon records as the PDF document. This is just a bunch of technical speak and details and addresses. Okay, let's see. On Thursday, 8/26/21 at approximately 19:33 hours, I was contacted off-duty via telephone by Sergeant Todd McCluskey. By Todd, Sergeant Todd, in regards. I'm not trying to be funny. I promise. In regards to my assistance in responding to Peru, Illinois, to assist in photographing and processing a vehicle related to a missing person investigation. Also, according to Jelani's family, it seems like they weren't bagging things or marking things properly in this vehicle whenever they did take pictures and did collect evidence. And it seems like they were more so checking a lot of the stuff that he would have touched rather than if a passenger would have touched. Again, from the video that we saw, it doesn't look like he had a passenger in the car. But anything can happen within that hour and a half drive. That's assuming it was even a straight drive right there, no stops or anything. So who knows? Again, I'm not saying, one thing happened or another, but I just thought it was something worth noting. Sorry, we're bumping chairs. Anyway. Okay. So upon my arrival at the Bloomington Police Department, I met with Detective Paul Jones and Detective Josh Schwartzentruber. They're really not making this easy on me. Okay. Who briefed me on circumstances known to this point. I was advised that Peru, Illinois Police Department had located a vehicle which belongs to the missing person Jelani Day in a secluded wooded area near the Peru YMCA. The vehicle was unoccupied and the license plates had been removed. I drove to the YMCA at 300 Walnut, Peru, Illinois. The address of 300 Walnut, Peru, Illinois is a YMCA with a full-size building, parking lot, and surrounding property. To the south of the building and parking lot is a steep and grassy hill. Beyond that hill is a secluded wooded area with thick trees and brush. To the southeast of the YMCA property is a roadway intersection. That intersection is 12th Street and West Clocks Avenue. There's a small gravel parking lot, stopping lot at the northwest portion of that intersection. There is then a dirt path that leads to the northwest from the intersection into a wooded area. The car was located approximately 218 feet northwest of the intersection of 12th Street and West Clocks Avenue. The weather conditions at the time of my arrival were cloudy nighttime skies with an approximate air temperature of 79 degrees. The ground surface around the vehicle was damp as there had been heavy rainfall in the previous days. The car was facing northwest and was unoccupied. There was some slight damage, scratches, dents, and scrapes as it appeared the car had been driven on the path through heavy and thick brush to its final resting point.
So that might not even been in the same place.
Yeah. The car was unlocked, and I was informed by Peru Police Department Detective Jones that he had entered the vehicle, including the trunk, and completed a cursory search of the car. I took photographs of the scene, and with the use of a Nikon D7200 digital camera, I later uploaded the photos, and it's showing you how you can access the photos. The photo log was completed and placed into a red evidence tape on all doors of the car before it being towed. The car was towed by Joe's Wrecker Service from 300 Walnut, Peru, Illinois to the Bloomington Police Department. At approximately 15:45 hours, I assisted Detective Jones with the execution of a search warrant on the Chrysler 300, which was currently secured in the Sallyport garage of the Bloomington Police Department. I saw red evidence tape seals on the vehicle's entry doors. During the search of the vehicle, I located a notebook of paper with handwritten journal entries on each page. I then used new and sterile swab applicators to swab 3 separate areas of the car, including the steering wheel, front driver's side door, interior handle, and the front passenger side door interior handle. After collection, the applicators were placed into a new swab carton and into a manila envelope labeled as follows.
Why didn't they swab all of the doors?
Yeah, so that's what it's like. That's what I'm saying, like what she was talking about. So I'm going to go over that again. They use new and sterile swab applicators for 3 separate areas of the car. The steering wheel, something that he's obviously going to touch. So, of course, it's going to have his DNA on it. The front driver's side door interior handle. Again, even if, anyway, we saw him drive away. It's going to have his freaking DNA. And it's like, did you do the entire steering wheel or did you just do this one little part or this one little part? You know what I'm saying? Like, sorry, I'm just thinking too much into. Well, no, you're not thinking too much into it. You have to think about this. So anyway, and the front passenger side door interior handle. So, I mean, yeah, if there was a passenger, you got it. But, you know, regardless, there's probably been a passenger in there before. So you're going to get somebody's DNA probably, right?
I know, I'm just thinking when logistically it's smarter to, if you're carjacking somebody, to get in behind them. If you've got a gun or something like that, to get in behind them.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's smarter to do it that way. Yeah.
Or like, did you guys swab the like license plate holder, like where the license plate was?
Right?
Since I took it off. I haven't gone to any kind of schooling. I almost did for criminal investigation, but it didn't work out anyway. So yeah, so like, you know, that was something that was unusual. Just food for thought, I guess. Anyway, it's just about securing and swabbing. The supplement. Sorry. Oh, I'm gonna for the wording. Okay. The supplemental report was generated. Sorry. The supplemental report was generated to document follow-up regarding this investigation. On Friday, 8/27/21, Sergeant Lynn assigned me to conduct a follow-up to speak with blank. It was possible that they had seen Day on Monday, 8/23/21. I was able to get in contact with blank via cell phone, and she agreed to come to ISUPD for an interview. At approximately 17:58 hours, blank arrived, and I spoke with her in the soft interview room. She provided the following summarized information. I'm sorry, this is totally unrelated. I saw them say soft interviews are hard interview room. Anyway. Sorry.
So
She is a second.
Nicholas would have been, so Nicholas Go to John would have been a hard interview room, and Gypsy would have been a soft interview
Oh,
room.
because it had the couch.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's what the difference.
Have you been in a hard interview room or a soft one?
I've been in a hard interview room.
No soft couches to sit on
No.
and blankets to. I'm sorry, I'm not going to diss Gypsy in this. It's not important right now.
No.
Anyway, okay. She's a second-year graduate student and is a peer of Day's. On Monday, 8/23/21, she left her class at approximately 2 p.m. from Fairchild Hall. As she was driving near Dale in Maine, she saw Day walking. She described him as looking dazed and confused. She pulled up next to Day and asked if something was wrong. He stated he misplaced his vehicle in one of the nearby parking lots. She gave Day a ride to Fairchild Hall. During the short drive, she stated that he seemed like his mind was somewhere else and not very talkative. That was the last time she spoke with or saw Day.
Didn't we read this earlier?
As I said before, there's a lot of stuff that are just repeats, retellings, people talking to the same people. So that's part of the reason why I was asking you earlier if you could kind of made like, we're going to talk about this and that. So maybe this week we'll kind of go through some stuff and pick some stuff out so that we have more of a cohesive storyline to follow.
I actually got all of these FOIAs that we're looking at right now today. I had gotten some off of Reddit, but this is a much lengthier set.
It seems like it's accomplished.
So that's why I wanted to go over these instead of the other stuff.
No, definitely good stuff to go through. But we'll go through some of this and see what we actually have. And we'll try and put together something a little more comprehensive. Okay. So I asked Blank if she was certain that it was Monday. She stated that she was positive, as on Wednesdays they have group meetings together and Day did not attend the meeting. While speaking with Blank, I learned that Day was supposed to meet with a client on Tuesday at some point, but unsure of the time. She stated Blank from their department would know of the exact time in the meeting. She also stated that Blank would be another individual to speak with. And I'm wondering if the person with the meeting that they're talking about is the teacher, because the teacher and him were supposed to have a meeting that day.
Yeah.
So, or the day.
And she's the one that filed the missing
police report. Again, don't know anything about the lady, but it seems like she's got some weird stuff going on. Anyway,
I don't know.
Either way, anyway, after speaking with Blank, I made contact with Blank via phone. She stated Day was supposed to meet with his client on Tuesday, 8/24/21, which is weird that it says client, unless there's somebody else. I know he had a clinical.
Yeah, a clinical.
Yeah. Okay. So he had a clinical and he had a meeting that day. Okay. Just making sure I'm following.
And he was supposed to get his TB test done.
TB test?
Yeah.
TB, what's that?
Tuberculosis.
Oh, like a literal TB. Okay.
Yeah, so he could see patients.
Oh, I see it here now. Okay, my bad. We're getting there. Okay. She stated that Day was supposed to meet with his client on Tuesday, 8/24/21. She further stated that she saw the missing photo of him dressed up and stated that he was wearing his clinical meeting clothes. She further stated that she last spoke with Day on Monday night in regards to the requirement Day needed to complete prior to his meeting with his client. She stated that he needed to get a tuberculosis test. She last spoke with him via text at approximately 9 p.m. on Monday night. On Tuesday at approximately 12 p.m., she sent him a text, but according to iMessage, the message was sent in green. It should be noted that iPhones use iMessage to communicate. When someone with an iPhone messages another individual with an iPhone, the message will appear blue on the screen. If the message appears green, it usually means iMessage is turned off, if the phone is powered off, or the phone is in airplane mode. Essentially, it's possible Day's phone was turned off at 12 p.m. on Tuesday or earlier. So I don't know this definitively, but I'm just going to speak from my experience. I feel like the iPhone thing happens if you blocked somebody or if the phone is just out of service. I haven't heard about it just being off or in airplane mode, it going to green. But I don't know that definitively. I think that the police should know that, so maybe I'm totally wrong. But I've texted people on airplanes before and, they, it never changed colors.
I'm an Android person, so I have no idea.
She has no clue, but
I have no clue.
I'm not speaking definitively on this at all. Holy crap, dude, your nails are sharp. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to speak definitively on that. That's just how I see it. I don't know. His phone was still on though, as far as like his service was still being paid for or whatever.
Mhm.
It's not like his service went out of service. Here, you
Mhm.
go to your grandma who has pants. Okay. Sorry, my legs are all scratched
Hey,
out.
big boy.
Anyway.
Mm.
To anyone who hasn't seen in a while, Oatsy came back.
Yeah, there he is.
But yeah, that's not really important. Well, you are important, but we're not going to talk about that at the moment. But yeah, okay. So,
Okay.
Blank also stated that she learned. I'm so sorry. She learned Day logged into their online medical charting system on Tuesday from 6:50 a.m. to 6:59 a.m. She stated that Day made changes to his client's chart, who he was supposed to meet later that day. After speaking with Blank, I made eye contact with Blank via phone. She provided the following summarized information. She last saw Day on Monday. They have class from 1 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. She noticed that Day arrived to class late on Monday. Day came into class almost 30 minutes after class started, which was not like him. After class, they usually walked to Fairchild to do homework, but he did not join them. She also believes this was unlike him. She described Day as being very reserved and quiet. This concludes my involvement with this investigation. The case is still currently pending. So it really seems maybe he really was going through something.
Mhm.
But again, I want to stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. Just because he was going through something, even if he were depressed and anxious and all the works, that doesn't mean that he took his own life. And furthermore, if he were to take his own life, the way in which he would have gone about it was very odd. And the fact that he drowned without having any water in his lungs also is very odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm not making any definitive statements. I personally don't believe that it was a suicide. But stranger things have happened. It does seem like he was going through a lot, but it's also possible that a lot that he was going through wasn't him getting ready to take his own life. Could have been anything.
He was in transition. His dad was sick, and
But I can't stress that enough. Also, he wanted to help his dad.
Yeah.
He had already gone through 2 or 3 surgeries, procedures, whatever procedures, which I can't imagine
to prep
that they
him
were
for the surgery.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I think I need water or something, but it's okay. I'll get water in a second. But yeah, so yeah, he had gone through like 2 or 3 procedures to help his dad so that they could have a stem cell transplant. And I'm sure they weren't enjoyable procedures. I don't know what they entailed, but I doubt that he would go through all that stuff just to be like, you know what? Never mind.
Was it stem cell or was it bone marrow?
A stem cell.
Okay.
Yeah. And speaking of cells, his body was so mangled that by the time they did the 3rd autopsy, they weren't even fully sure that it was Jelani. There was no way to actually prove it. You couldn't even tell what his ethnicity was because he was so mangled. And I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to explain this well, but it seems that they took some of his skin and did kind of something where they regrew some cells or regrew some skin or something. Hopefully we can get a little bit more information on that and explain it a lot better in the future. But yeah, they literally had to do some weird like biology, science fiction-y kind of experiment to even figure out for a definitive fact that it was Jelani.
Yeah.
And yeah, his older brother saw him.
Which I can't even imagine. And I am sorry that he had to go through that.
I'm so sorry. And on top of that, though, I do think it is a good thing that one person was able to see him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just to make sure, because of how shady it seems things were. That's the only way you could know for sure.
Yeah. No,
but
I agree.
As far as the details, it was very brutal. Again, they can't definitively place the manner of death. And it seems that there were some activity with some of the fish and the turtles and algae and different things in the water, and it just was not a pretty sight. I don't think I'm going to get into that too much at the
Yeah.
moment, but it was brutal. Again, like I said, you couldn't even tell that it was him. And how many days did it take for them to find
I
him?
think it was like 9 days or
9 days.
something like that. It might have. I can't remember.
Yeah, 9
I'm
days.
really
and then
bad at
regular-
remembering, guys. I have to have it right in front of me usually.
No, I'm
unless
pretty
I
bad.
go over it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad with remembering too. So I'm trying my best here, but I think we've gotten a good basis. But
Mhm.
regardless, it's
We're just kind of setting the foundation for Carmen to come in and tell you
Mhm.
more, and then if you guys want us to go through the rest of the FOIAs, we'll definitely do that, and we'll definitely just kind of work this case. And one day I also hope to get more information on the Teron Evans Jr. case as well.
absolutely.
So
To anyone who hasn't seen that video, it's a different case. There's a lot of details that are different, but there's also some things that are similar. It's someone that was accused of taking his own life when it truly seems that he did not.
yeah.
It's another Black man that was completely disregarded, and not like I said, a lot of police departments just don't really care to do that much research or investigation.
Well, you got to think, I mean, this was a smaller town, right? So, in both situations, they were both smaller towns, predominantly white. So, you've already got small town cops who are probably overworked already. And then you throw something like this in their lap who probably don't care enough to do everything necessary, because there are cops who are cops because of a paycheck, and then there are cops who are cops because they want to serve. No, there are people who want to serve.
There are people, few and far between.
The
but there are
people who want paychecks are usually the ones who want power, and
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people out there. This is a channel that supports first responders, and there are a lot of people that we know who, are great people, and so we can't paint that brush, on everybody.
I think that there are individuals that are police officers that can be good people, but I think overall it's a bastardized system. And I think that there's a lot that needs to change. And obviously, I'm not saying that we need to completely abolish everything, because at the point that America's in, if we just didn't have any sort of policing one day, that would be a really harsh whatever, and a lot of bad things that come out of that. That being said, I don't support a lot. I don't support a lot, and that's where I'm kind of going to leave that. But regardless,
well, I do. I
she
support
does.
a
We can
lot,
be different.
and that being said, I know that there's corruption out there. So,
But I know good people that are cops too. But
yeah,
we need good people to outweigh all the bad. But I think as a system, it's corrupt. And the way that it operates is entirely corrupt.
Yeah.
And there's no way that can convince me otherwise.
Yeah, no, most definitely, especially when we have private prisons who are created that are created all the time to house more people.
And policing, it only ever really started to just try and control, like people of color. And that's why things kind of started. Okay, we're not going to get into it, but it's fine. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know about
historically in
that,
America, yes. Anyway, we're not going to get into it. Thank you, but I love you. But regardless, I'm just saying a lot of people are overlooked, and we're not going to let this be overlooked. We're not going to let people. Yeah, we're not going to let it happen.
If anybody's ever watched me, they know that I stand for truth, and I stand for justice, and it doesn't matter what color you are or what you've done, unless you're like a pedophile or something like that, then I might let it slide a little bit. But yeah, it definitely all needs fixed, but we can't throw, everything out as well. It's a balance. We need to just find good people to do good things for our country and our world. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of people stepping up that are good people. It's all the people who are money hungry and powerful, or power hungry, So
Yeah.
they're few and far between anymore. So, it is what it is, and you know, we could sit here and talk forever about the injustices of the system,
No, for sure.
but I think at the very least we're doing something, to just bring light to the injustices, and hopefully our viewers will then take this and what they've learned and go and learn even more and share it, and make the change. It starts one person at a time. I'm just here to present everybody the information, and whatever God decides to do with it, it is what it is.
Thank you everybody for joining us here today.
Yeah.
This is a really important one.
It is.
And we've had a good turnout tonight, and that we very much appreciate it.
Yes.
This is, if there was any episode to tune in, this is definitely a good one. And also we want to encourage all of you guys who are interested in the Jelani Day case to also check out our video about Teron Evans. His mother. Wait, do we have 2 videos of it, or do we just have one?
No, we just have one on Teron, because I
reacting
actually reached out to Nick Hillary and to Detective John Jones, I believe, to see if they would come on to talk about it. But unfortunately they have not. So I was waiting to see if they reached out. But we are definitely going to present Teron's case at CrimeCon while we're there. And we will include Jelani's and all the other people that we have talked about. We're going to try and make some stuff for them and present it to people so that people know more about what's going on. So we're going to call it today. Sorry, I can't even talk right now. It's been a very long couple of weeks, and I'm thankful, Alaura, that you held down the fort last week for me.
Not very well. I did like a 30-minute show where I just gave you silly little updates, but one of them was that my OT, we found him. So super great.
Mariah said, I have a question about your photo. Do y'all ever get into that topic? Are you talking about?
I think she's talking about like paranormal.
Yeah, I mean,
cryptids. Whenever we first started, the paintings.
Well, I think they're talking about 2 different things.
Yeah, I was saying, whenever we first started, you always ask people if they had any paranormal experiences, but I feel like there's probably a better way that we can kind of work it in. And also maybe it would make more sense with some of the people that we talk to, but yeah.
I try to ask people if they've had any paranormal or alien experiences or cryptid experiences.
But then the way that we kind of went, like, it just didn't really make sense to ask everyone.
Yeah.
Especially something like this, like, it's not really...
We did have an archaeologist come on. Yes. He was a Christian archaeologist, and I asked him some interesting questions.
And he didn't really have answers for some of the questions we wanted answered.
He didn't, but you know what? That's all right. He was a good sport to come on and let us ask him. So definitely. Like I said, I do want to talk to Dave Politis, and I've reached out to Jeremy Corbell. I've reached out to George Knapp. I've reached out to a lot of people, guys. It's just a matter of them actually wanting to come on or not.
That's okay.
But I'm building my channel. I'm a disabled veteran just doing this for cognitive therapy. And I just want to talk about things that I find interesting or that I find people need to know more about. And so that's what this channel is all about. And so I thank everybody for joining us. And next week we will have Carmen Bolden Day and possibly Dacara as well, Jelani's sister and Jelani's mother. So please join us again next week. And we hope that you guys have a wonderful day. And I know you can barely see me back here, but that's fine. I'm good with that.
Oh, yeah.
I've got oats sleeping in my lap underneath my shirt.
I kept trying to get underneath mine, but it's a lot tighter.
So I hope that everybody has a wonderful evening and that you do something great to change the world for the better.
Absolutely. And check the link in our description to the Teron Evans Foundation.
No,
Or-
Jelani.
oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
The
We were just talking
Jelani
about
Day,
Charna.
the Jelani Day
I'm so
Foundation.
sorry.
No, you're good.
That was just because we were just talking about him. But yeah, the Jelani Day
Yes.
Foundation.
And we have Kawana back here, so which 1980 did
Yes,
spectacularly.
awesome.
Have a blessed day, everybody.
Have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.